This is Zach.
This is Noah, and this is Zach and Noah Take on the World, podcast about one thing.
Everything. We nailed it.
Ugh.
That has been the hardest part of this whole podcast thing is actually nailing the intro.
Well, and actually getting on to the actual podcast. I think we had planned to be on 30 minutes ago, and because mostly me, I'm struggling over here. Internet connectivity problems.
That's right. That's
But
right.
we're back. The
We're
weekly
back.
show you watch or listen to, but we're back.
We're back. And today we're going to talk about two things. So I know this is the podcast about one thing, but since that one thing contains everything, we're talking about two things.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing we're talking about is jerseys, sports jerseys. Now, this was inspired by the new uniforms for both the Atlanta Falcons and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And my friend Noah here is not a fan.
Well, let me tell you, I'm pulling them up right now because I'm always prepared.
That's right.
It's just look at those Falcons jerseys, man. It's so bad. I'm trying to pull them up. I don't know. I'm glad everybody else's mind went where mine did, especially if you're looking at the picture with Matt Ryan in the all black, with the white number and in red letters. That's the longest yard for sure. The meme machine. And the Carolina Panthers actually clowned them on Twitter or Instagram, one of the two, with that, saying they looked like that. And they're okay. It's just they scream like not NFL. Like that's XFL to me. I could see the Seattle wearing those.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm gonna say I like them because I like I like that approach to jerseys of that kind of modern. I like the red fading into the black on that one jersey. I like the ATL above the number, but I can see the criticism, particularly with anytime you make black your main jersey color, you're gonna get every villain football team or sports team from any sports movie ever.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's what you're going to get stuck with first of all for the most part. I don't know. I like it. I like the red fading into the black one the most personally.
Mm-hmm.
But I like red and black, and we'll get into that in a little bit when we talk about more jerseys. But we've got that, and we've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers jerseys.
I like it. I'm not gonna lie. I like it, especially the alternate. I don't know what color you call kind of gold, silverish. It's showing up a little weird on my screen, but I don't know. It's like more classic. Feel like they didn't do as much changing, but it's like new. You got to think. New quarterback, Tom Brady, kind of new era of the Buccaneers, new era for Tom, kind of switch it up. I'm going to be more eyes on them for sure this year than usually because I feel like the Buccaneers are a team you kind of lose sight of in the NFL. It's like, especially with them in that division, with Panthers who have been to a Super Bowl, Falcons been to a Super Bowl, Saints to a Super Bowl. They won one in the early 2000s, but since then, not much since Gruden left.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it was like 2002 maybe that they went to the Super Bowl. And I mean, so it's just not. Yeah. So, well, it's technically 2003, but it was the 2002 season. That they went to the Super Bowl. And first of all, their quarterback was like Sean King or Brad Johnson or something.
I really could not tell you. I knew it was led by defense. Warren Sapp, Rondé Barber, I believe.
Dexter Jackson, John Lynch. Was
man.
Piece, but had Keyshawn Johnson and Keenan McCardell and Joe Juravicius for wide receivers.
Team.
Not a bad team. And then Mike Allstott, the last great fullback.
That was a little bit before Cadillac Williams.
Mm-hmm.
I do remember loving that name, but that is before Cadillac Williams played. But yeah, I like their jerseys. I don't know your thoughts on them. I don't know if you got to pull it up, but yeah.
I like them. I like you said. I don't know. Is that like that third? I guess that third jersey. Is that like a? Is it a brown? Like a
Maybe
dark
it's
tinted brown or something?
kind of like their helmets almost.
Yeah.
Black fabric for them. So kind of like brownish gold.
Yeah. I'm not 100% sure what that color
But
is. I
pretty
like it.
much it just shows you kind of how life's going during the pandemic. You know, the biggest sports thing to talk about. Well, I'm sure there's more. I know Wimbledon got canceled for the first time since I think one of the wars.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently they were insured. They were prepared. I don't know if you saw that.
Did not
But
see that. Good for them.
no, they've been paying $2 million on an insurance plan, and now they got paid $34 million this year.
Wow.
They were ready. Pandemic coverage. Who knew you could have it? But they
Who
did.
knew? But yeah, you're right. They were ready.
And also, I want to shout out. I'm just going to shout it out just because your dad said something. Your world-renowned father.
Mhm.
We'd be remiss if we didn't shout out the Masters. It's going to be in November. It's going to be weird. One of the golf tournaments I will watch. I mean, you got to watch the Masters.
You gotta
You got
watch
to
the
watch.
Masters. Obviously, it has a real long, storied history. It's played at the same course every year until now, the same time every year. The other majors either go on a rotation, like the British Open goes on a rotation, PGA and U.S. Open. I've off and on been a big golf fan. And I actually listened to there's a book about the Masters that came out several years ago, and I listened to the audiobook many times or parts of it. It's fascinating tournament, fascinating history. So definitely looking forward to that.
I wonder if I read that same book. I definitely have read a book about the Masters. Not sure who wrote it, but I had to read one at some point.
Very well might have been the same one. But in the spirit of these jerseys being the biggest sports news that we've got right now, we're going to talk briefly about some of our favorite jerseys from
right.
our sports fandom. So
Let's pull them off. Let's go.
Yeah, I'll go
Rapid
first.
fire.
I got 4. You got 3. I'll go first, and I'm gonna pull them up on my phone so that I can show it on the screen while we're looking. The first one for me, so soccer has the best jerseys, I think, mostly because they change every year. A lot of teams have the same basic structure for their home jerseys, same color scheme, same basic structure, but their away jerseys can change colors, change style, all the time. Sometimes teams will go back to the same colors. My first one is Arsenal Football Club, which we've talked about before, from 2013-14, and you can't see it because of my virtual background. So never mind. That was going to be nice. 13-14, it was a white jersey with blue lettering and a blue collar. Some soccer jerseys have collars, which I really like. Blue shorts, and then the socks were blue and yellow stripes, like a candy cane kind of thing. Those are really good. That's my number 1 pick.
Well, let me just tell you. I know we mentioned it before. Big Michigan fan, and I am going to pull them up. But really, I really don't have one jersey for Michigan. I fell in love with Michigan because of helmets, and they've been one team, especially more so in football than basketball. They kind of just stayed the course, never really switched it up. It's just that maize and blue, man. I think I did pick the all whites. They wore some all whites this year, I just like an all white uniform. I kind of like the same pants and the same top. Like I love uniforms with that. And as you'll see, I feel like all 3 of mine have the same colored tops and bottoms. And I don't know, that just says something about me, but I really like it. So yeah, that's my number 1. Anything Michigan, they can't go wrong. They did in basketball plenty. Football, they did decent. They even had some weird ones earlier in the 2010s, I believe, when they had some night games. They got a little weird, but they were still good. They still kind of had the winged helmet. I know they had some where they had numbers on them at one point when Denard Robinson played.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's my number 1. Anything Michigan. That's why I fell in love with them. So
That's huge. And I'll have a team that's with a similar story for me. And actually, technically, I started paying attention to soccer and Arsenal because I bought an Arsenal jersey. So I guess it's with teams that you don't live in the same area in or don't have as much connection to.
Yeah.
I feel like jerseys, uniforms is usually the way in.
Mm.
My number two is the current Carolina Hurricanes third jerseys, the black ones with some red trim. I mean, they just look really good. The black and red, as we talked about with the Falcons earlier, I guess. Um, they look really good. They wear them every Friday. They play at home, which is you don't see that a lot with alternate jerseys in sports, where it's a more kind of um, consistent choice. Except I know there's been times Oregon football has worn a different jersey setup every week, just because. I mean, kudos to them. They're usually great, but it's maybe a little overkill. Um,
Mm.
but my favorite part of the Hurricanes jerseys, they got alternate logo on the front. Um, on the left shoulder is a North Carolina flag, but it's like a black. It's all like in black. Um,
Mm.
they call it ghosted version, um, which is just very. That's something that they had never really done in jerseys before. Make that connection to the home state. Other teams will do that, but that was something that was new on this jersey, and I really liked.
Gotcha. Definitely. That's definitely a strong pick. Not a huge hockey fan, but I do enjoy their jerseys. It's always good when you have a hometown team and they do have good jerseys,
Mm-hmm.
because it makes it easier to want to kind of support them and get that jersey.
That's right.
Um, so it's definitely good to have something to connect to. All right. So I've always been an OKC Thunder fan. A little less now. I always loved Kevin Durant, not anymore, and Russell because he's a snake, and
Yeah.
Russell Westbrook. Still love Russell. Yeah, he didn't leave us intentionally. But a couple years ago, they had an away jersey. So obviously they have a rich Native American history in Oklahoma. And I'm going to try to pull it up on the screen because I do have it. I don't know if I can flip. I can't flip. I don't know if it did.
Yep.
Oh, are we good? There we are. So you can see like the native lettering, and then also going up along the jersey, the pattern. I don't know why. I just always love this. And I also kind of like that blue, like the lighter blue, as you'll kind of see with other teams I like as well. I always wanted one of those, never got them. I do own a jersey, and I thought about wearing it today, but it wasn't that one. Just the normal Thunder jersey, which also aren't bad. They're different. You don't see orange or stuff that often. Definitely, I feel like the Thunder have an interesting combination. You really don't see. So that's my number two. But yeah, they're just different, and you don't see that all the time. I feel like a lot of people's favorite uniforms are usually the alternate ones because
Mhm.
they take chances with those,
Yeah.
and that's where you kind of get the creativity. So
Definitely only mean three of my four picks are third jerseys. So I just took my background off so we could show the Arsenal yellow ones, which
ooh,
they're
those
just
are nice.
they're so sharp. I love them. They're so good. I had one, and then I kind of let's just say I kind of grew out of it, as in I don't fit in it anymore.
You shrunk it in the wash. That's what happened.
That's exactly what happened. And then there's
Right.
the Hurricanes one. The black and red
Right.
is good looking.
All right. Let's do a rapid fire round. I feel like I don't know how
Yeah,
we're limited today on time. So,
we're doing this on Zoom, so we
and,
and have a 40-minute limit.
and we're cheap, so we're not paying for a thing.
Next is St. Pauli soccer team in Germany. Their third jersey from 1718. This is the jersey that I found on FIFA, and it made me play with them. And now I follow them on social media and have bought a different jersey because when I went to buy a St. Pauli jersey, that jersey was not available in my size. St. Pauli is mainly brown, which is kind of you don't see a lot in jerseys. As their home and away ones are usually the home ones are almost all brown or totally brown, and the away ones are white and brown and red, some kind of combination of that. But they went with that kind of gray camo for their third a couple years ago, and it looks really sharp.
All right. Definitely a strong pick. And here we go. Let's see if I can turn it around. My final one. I don't even know if I need to say anything.
Those black ones are really good, and I don't know how people felt about how you felt about this, but this year when Duke and Carolina played and they wore, it was like Duke was the Duke blue with the D and Carolina was the Carolina blue. You didn't like that?
Those are disgusting. I did not like that.
I thought it was bold.
I do love me a black jersey. I
Yeah,
mean, you had the Carolina Hurricanes,
I
and
do too.
just you keep it with the Argyle, you know.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah,
don't know, I just like the flag, and I just like you got the USA flag, and then you got the jump man. It's just good. And the number 5, you know, Marcus Page had some great games in those jerseys. Shout out to Marcus Page. Not sure what he's doing right now, but sure he's playing there. I'm gonna say Greece. I'm gonna say Greece. I wouldn't put money on it, but I'm gonna say Greece.
we should interview him. I mean,
Marcus. He plays in Serbia. All right, I was
see,
close.
Marcus Page is somebody I actually know. If we interview, I won't be going in like, so I looked this guy up on Wikipedia and that's it.
I'll try to find him.
Got to find
But
it.
yeah, so that's my last one. If you want to, let's round it out.
Got one more, another Arsenal jersey. Purple is one of my favorite colors, and this is their third jersey from 2012, 2013. So actually right before I became a fan, but picked this jersey up later. Just
Very solid.
the purple and the black is a great combination. And the fun thing about soccer is the goalie jerseys are usually different and usually match. And this is the number that went with that. Just all pink.
I like it.
I respect it. I respect it. So yeah, so jerseys. There you go. If you got a favorite jersey, comment below, and let us know what it is. Send a link, and if we see one, we'll comment on it next episode or comment on it below.
Who knows? We might even post these to Instagram. I feel like we need to. I'll try to go picture with each of them playing, and hopefully they're not copyrighted or anything. I mean, we're not selling them. I feel like we can do whatever.
Yeah, and people put stuff on Instagram all the time. It's okay.
We can put it on Facebook too. Who knows?
Right.
But yes, that leads into our. It doesn't really lead into it all. We just go to our second thing. So what do you do when you're stuck at home? You play video games, get on your computer, you do podcast, but you also watch TV. This is what we're about today. If you're bored, we both have 3 recommendations for you. And yeah, we might as well just get into it.
Yeah, start us off. I think I started off the jersey, so why don't you start us off?
So let us start off. I'm not going to go in order of what my list was, but I will start us off with Letterkenny. Kind of rose in popularity over the past couple years when it got on Hulu. It's a Canadian TV show. Really don't know how to explain it. I don't know. I did recommend you to watch it. Probably talked about it a few times. It's just a different type of humor, and I don't know how to explain it. Always with the puns, always very witty, very quick, or you'll miss it. You definitely have to listen because pretty much every other line can be a joke.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of just what I like about it. Kind of keeps you on your toes. You never really know what they're going to say. But yeah, it's just a Canadian show, centers around 3 groups of people: hockey players, skids, which are just kind of your weird, I would just say weird people, kind of castaways, very interesting. And then you have your Hicks. I don't know if I said Hicks and hockey players, and the skids. But yeah.
Yeah,
so yeah.
I think I'd seen a clip of the show before you talked about a couple weeks ago. It might have even been that clip that you sent me, but it was hilarious. But I think what I enjoyed about that clip was just very quick fire. Like you got to keep up, but it was really smart and really funny, really funny humor. So
there's I believe there's 7 seasons now, so plenty of bingeability. They're like 25 minutes. You can get through them pretty quickly. There's only like 6 or 7 episodes per season, so you don't have an excuse not to watch it. You will come out speaking a lot of Canadian slang, which I try to use it all the time. I'll give you a few of my favorites while we're on it. Pitter patter.
Patter.
So pitter patter, let's get at her. It's kind of like let's just get going. We'll pitter patter. That's a Texas size 10-4. So that's just like saying yeah, pretty much like heck yeah. That's size 10-4. And then you're 10-ply, which means you're very soft. You're just a soft individual. You're 10-ply, bud. So yeah, There you go. Use that in conversation this week. I want to see it in a story. If you write a story about it, please use pitter patter.
Pitter patter, I think, is the one I could probably put in the easiest. So I'll see what I can do. I'll see.
All right, now where's that first one for you?
So one right now that my wife and I are destroying super quickly is Community. Just got on Netflix within the last week and a half. It's a story about a group of students at a community college, varying in age, just a very diverse group. Joel McHale is on it. Donald Glover, who's also the Childish Gambino. Allison Brie, Chevy Chase. Just a great cast. Real fun. I mean, it's a lot of shows. Okay, two of my favorite shows are The Office and Parks and Rec. The Office does a pretty good. I've grown to love the first season of The Office, but both the first season of The Office and the first season of Parks and Recreation were not very well received when they came out, and I can kind of understand why. Like, it's not that show doesn't really hit it. Those shows don't really hit their stride until season 2. Community comes swinging right at the gate and is just phenomenal. Almost every episode has some kind of theme or reference of some other movie or TV show. I mean, there's a character, Abed, who is basically like a walking movie TV show reference character. Make references all the time, and it's hilarious. They've got episodes where basically the whole campus turns into a big paintball war. There's like a zombie outbreak. There's musical episodes. I mean, it's just the whole thing. They really, a lot of shows will do those kind of things as like one-offs or, and they're all, and I really enjoy them, but this show does it all the time. And you think it would get old, but it's actually really funny. And they'll bring stuff back. Like the Donald Glover character is really good at like plumbing, and he connects with this plumber on campus, and it's like kind of hints at like Good Will Hunting, and it plays like the soundtrack from Good Will Hunting whenever they meet. So it's kind of like Matt Damon and Stellan Skarsgård's character in Good Will Hunting. So it's a fantastic show. Just got on Netflix. I'm pretty sure it's an NBC show, and so once NBC starts their streaming service, I'm sure they'll snap it up. So now is the time. Now's the time. It was on NBC the first 5 seasons, and then went to Yahoo Screen for the 6th season.
Definitely. All right. Well, I don't know if you wanted to go back to back with yours, but I'm just gonna go for it because I was ready. All right, a Netflix show, Atypical, to kind of go away from. Well, I know we both started out with comedies, but so Atypical centers around the lives of a family. And it's atypical because when you're not on the autism spectrum, you're considered a neurotypical. I'm not going to act like I know any of these things. I'm only saying what I know from the show.
Right.
And it centers around, I believe his name, I'm blanking. I haven't watched it in a while. But you can binge it. It's just I binged it right when it came out, the new season. I think his name's Sam. And it just centers around him and his family. And it's just very, I don't know, it's smart as well, like we talked about. And he portrays the actor name that I'm blanking on right now, who's also in It's Kind of a Funny Story.
I think it's Keir Gilchrist. I don't know how you say the first name, but this is Keir, yeah.
He's in It's Kind of a Funny Story, right? You do enjoy that movie. Where he also plays somebody that's kind of going through their own thing as well. And yeah, there's just so many intertwined stories. I mean, it just tackles that. It tackles going off to college, coming of age. It tackles familiar relationships, divorce, I guess people's sexuality, just a little bit of everything. And it's like, you don't always get those things portrayed smartly, I'd say, in shows, or maybe like open-mindedly.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's just a lot of good things that come out of that show. Easy to binge, short episodes. I always wish they're an hour long, but they're not. And I think they're on 3 seasons. They're going to have a final one. And yeah, it's just a good time. Wonderful cast. Michael Rappaport, I don't know if you see him. He tries to be serious. He's probably not my favorite character, but he has some good times in there. The sister, Bridget Lundy Payne, I believe. Her name's Casey. Great character. He has a friend who's amazing as well, his best friend, Sam's best friend. Nonstop laughs. You'll cry too. especially probably in the third season because it's a little emotional. But yeah, I mean, it has a little something for everybody. Definitely like a family type drama. My parents, who are both over 50 years old, love it. Love it more than I did. I told them about it as I watched the first season, and they binged it in like a day, the first one.
Wow.
And the second and third seasons too. But I would recommend anybody to watch it. Very good. I don't explain shows as well as you do, but it's just like
I got you. I got you. I
get
mean,
that out with the podcast.
yeah.
You're you're better with just having thoughts. I'm just emotions over here. Your thoughts, I'm emotions. Man.
Hey, that works. That works. You bring the combination in, and we make it work.
And you'll learn about penguins. That's how he kind of relates things in the show.
Hmm.
Obviously, when people that are on the spectrum, they can be savants in a way or just very gifted. And that's kind of he just knows so much about penguins. And yeah,
There you
it's a
go.
lot in the third season. Watch it, and you'll learn all about penguins.
I'm excited. I really need to check that out. And because it's on Netflix, it's accessible. So that's
You get it.
So you probably got a look at my list before, and I actually changed the show I had in a second. I had Parks and Rec, but I've actually been watching a little bit of Arrested Development. It was kind of an older show, early 2000s. I mean, the Jason Bateman, Will Arnett, Michael Cera, just three of the people that not necessarily got their start on that show. I mean, Michael Cera, I guess, kind of did, but just some huge names that really show just how good they are on Arrested Development. Story of the Bluth family, and Jason Bateman plays the main character, Michael Bluth, who is kind of the straight-laced person in his family, and everybody else is really wacky or weird in some way. His dad runs like this big development company, and gets arrested for changes like 3 or 4 times. There's various things he gets arrested for, but gets arrested, put in jail, and so Michael has to run the family business. Oh, embezzlement. That's it. That's the whole point. Is the dad was using money from the business for his own personal reasons. So Michael has to run the company while trying to deal with his crazy family. Raise Michael Cera plays Jason Bateman's son. It's very smart comedy, very funny, and very absurd in a lot of ways. Not absurd. It's very realism. Like a lot of absurd will be like, oh, let's put them out in space, or let's have an animated character come in. It's not that kind of absurd. It's just kind of just wacky. Was not watched a lot when it came out. Only lasted 3 seasons and went from like 24 to 20 to 13 episodes or something like that in the 3 seasons. Was restarted by Netflix a few years ago, and I would recommend just watching the pre-Netflix episodes. The Netflix episodes are kind of weird, and I mean that's saying a lot for a show that's already strange. But everything that was before then, the seasons 1 through 3 were really good. Lots of guest stars that are fantastic. Carl Weathers comes in and plays a fictionalized version of himself. Charlize Theron, Ben Stiller comes on a couple episodes. So it's a great show, real funny, very quotable.
Gotcha. Well, let's get you some reality TV now. I probably mentioned it before, but Love is Blind. Okay. So I haven't finished it, by the way, because I'm just on the last episode, which is just amazing.
Yeah.
It's a train wreck, and I feel like during this time we just need to pick me up and then realize that our lives aren't as bad as some other people's, and it's just amazing. So the premise is that people come in these 2 pods, separated by a wall that you can't see through. You can hear, though. And pretty much they just get engaged just by talking to each other. But once they get engaged, they meet each other in person and then have to wait on an island. They have like a little getaway until their actual wedding days. So it's not like get engaged, get married. You have time to see if you really like the person. And that's when it goes to heck. And I love it. Oh, it's so good. It's just so many personalities, so many people who are just meant for TV. Some people who are kind of dull and shouldn't be on TV.
Yeah.
Like, lovable people, hateable people is the best. There's one girl named Jessica who's 34, who constantly points out that she's 34 and that the guy she likes is 24. And that's like her main premise. Like, oh, I could never be with somebody so young. But
I
and
was
that
wondering.
falls apart.
I was wondering why.
Spoiler, that falls apart.
Yeah, I was wondering why you knew off the top of your head that she was 34. I was like, are you looking at the list? I was
No,
like,
because
no,
she's
she just says.
34 says it a lot. But yeah, so if you need some debauchery to watch, go watch that.
Oh,
Um,
goodness.
and yeah, I mean, some of them work out, some of them don't. Some's happy, some's sad. It's just you just need it. You need it in your life.
Yeah, I'm sitting here looking. I mean, this is very interesting. I'm looking at Wikipedia and that. Wow, I'm gonna throw in one little spoiler alert here. Two of the couples split on their wedding day. Yikes!
Yeah, poor
That's
Jessica.
poor
Oh,
Jessica,
30.
34-year-old Jessica, and
There's one that also said no, but they're together now. So I don't know if it says that.
that's
Giannini and Damien, I
Janina.
believe,
Yeah,
who are also just please watch their story. Oh my goodness, I don't even want to explain these people. Oh, the things she said to him, and they were constantly bickering. But yeah, they're fine now. Apparently, who knows?
good for them.
You
Yeah,
never they're edited either way. So.
right, right. I started. They put a season of The Bachelor on Netflix like
Mhm.
a few months ago, and I was like, okay, I'll try this. Couldn't make it past 5 minutes. I just couldn't do it. Maybe this will be different. I don't know.
Maybe try it out. Try it out.
I like to think
Right.
of myself as like interested in how relationships and the human can work in the human condition, but I think when I actually see it, I'm just like, no, no.
It's something. It's something.
It's
All
not.
right, round us out.
Last one. So go a little more on the nerdy side here. Star Wars: The Clone Wars season 7 has been rolling out on Disney Plus. Um, huge Star Wars fan. I could do a whole episode on that. Some of my favorite fictional characters are from Star Wars. I love Liam Neeson, partly because of Star Wars. The color purple is partly one of my favorite colors because of Star Wars. Mace Windu, Samuel L. Jackson's lightsaber. So Star Wars obviously has a very special place in my heart and has for a long time. The Clone Wars was an animated series that came out, I don't know when it started. It was probably mid to late 2000s. Takes place between movies episode 2 and 3. I did not watch it when it came out, but it was on Netflix, and then I ended up watching all of that a couple years ago. And they are putting out a new season this year on Disney Plus exclusively, and it's been really good. What the Star Wars shows have started to do, the animated shows, is they do these 4-episode arcs where there's stories that are kind of told over 4 episodes instead of each episode being its kind of own story, which is a really different way of storytelling, and I really enjoy. And it covers a lot. So there's not necessarily one whole story that goes out throughout the whole season necessarily, but it's really good, real fun. If you're a nerd, you'll like it. If not, if you don't like Star Wars, you probably won't like it. That's okay. But if you like Star Wars, worth checking out on Disney Plus, the whole series, and their animated series are actually pretty good. Star Wars Rebels is another one that's probably one of my more favorite shows, especially the last 2 seasons. Really good. So, well, I think that's it. We're like I said earlier, we're on Zoom, and we don't want to run up against the 40-minute time frame.
You can't be bored. We gave you 6 things to watch.
That's right.
Go watch things. Watch them right now, all at the same time. 6 televisions.
And we told you to go look for your favorite sports jerseys and put them in the comments below.
That's something to do. But what we always leave you with is some music. And we're going to do it right now. I'll just go ahead and go. I don't know how we got the little throwbacks on, but I've been trying to listen to like late 2000s. And by late 2000s, before 2010, Bobby Valentino. Haven't heard that name in forever. This is the only song I know of his, but it's called Anonymous. Just a wonderful vibe with Timbaland. And I know we talked about it before we started, just about how Timbaland was firing on all cylinders during that time.
And here's the thing: is Timbaland has kept firing. So, 2006, pulls out pretty much the whole Justin Timberlake album that Sexy Back is on. So that's Sexy Back, My Love, What Goes Around Comes Around, Summer Love. That same year was Nelly Furtado, Maneater and Promiscuous, Say It Right. Another underrated song from that era, Icebox by Omarion. Good one. Sorry, I interrupted you. But Timbaland during that time, on fire. That was all in 2006, and then your Bobby Valentino song came the next year. Okay, I'm done.
So good. I mean, I'm just looking at some other things he's been on, just so good. Pussycat Dolls, just so much. Produced songs for AO Technology on 50 Cent's album. I don't know if you remember that. Also had Justin Timberlake in it.
Yeah, and he produced a lot of the 2020 Experience Justin Timberlake albums as well, which are also really good. That was obviously a lot later, but real good. And he looks like I'm scrolling down. He's still going.
Oh, he is. 48 years old now.
4 years old. Did some work on the Kanye album that came out last year. And he did some work on the Zayn album that I mentioned. Did he do that? Yeah, he did the remix for Dean Lewis.
He did.
Remix.
He did for Waves.
Yeah.
Wonderful song. I would recommend it. Just not today.
Not today. Yeah, Timbaland, anything with Timbaland worth investing some time in. My throwback is a little bit of a different. I'm definitely on board for that kind of late '90s, early 2000s. No, early 2000s R&B that Timbaland was really good at working with. Mine is a little different. It's a little more of that pop punk that Noah's been recommending some from. It's called "No One Can Touch Us" by Sing It Loud and Alex Gaskarth, who is the lead singer for All Time Low. I don't remember exactly how I found this song, but I think I ended up downloading it for free. Maybe it was one of those iTunes free singles of the week. You remember those?
Yeah.
From a long time ago. And I think that this might have been one of those, or I found it somewhere free and I really liked it. And I was like, and at that time I was in my first serious relationship, I guess. And I was like, this is a song about us.
Gotta love those.
I told Noah a couple of days ago, I was like, okay, so this is my song and it's just a story behind it. I'll tell you on the podcast. That's the story, is like this high school Zach, like this
Heck
is
yeah, man.
I had a whole CD, man. I had like 15 songs. It was bad. But that was one of them. I
will say I had the album of Bobby Valentino that my song was on, and that's the only song I listened to. I bought it for that one song. Did not enjoy any of the other songs, but so that's my story behind that one. It's still in my house. I still have it. I mean, it's in my apartment somewhere. I still have that album. But yeah,
I love it. I'm a fan.
That's it.
A fan.
Well, that's the show, guys.
That's the show. That's it.
In quarantine, still got a pandemic on our hands. You can still find me at UM Card Collector, still collecting cards, still buying them, posting here and there. You can find you too.
Funko Pop Zach right there on Instagram. And I think one more thing that we can talk about, and then we'll call it a podcast, is I think there is such a thing as collector's fatigue. I think there's a sense where it's like, if you collect something, even if you enjoy it, it's like, okay, and it kind of loses its fun and its novelty a little bit if you do it all the time. At least for me.
I would kind of say the same thing. I get tired of it. It's like, I'm like, do I really want another one? I don't need another one. And yeah, it's like the novelty kind of wears off. That's why that's kind of with anything in life too. I feel like if you do it too much, you just kind of get bored and just kind of, you don't enjoy it. That's just kind of like, you can get burnt out on a lot of things. That's kind of what it is.
Yeah. So I think we've both kind of hit that hill a little bit, but I mean, we still got stuff coming in. I've still got a couple pops on the way.
Yeah, I'm making sales too. I'm out here.
Yeah, I've
sold any. I put some on eBay. I don't know how it did, but yeah.
I think I sold 4. Yeah, I've sold 4 pops within the last
We
week.
might be down there too. Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows?
Somewhere. But yeah, so we'll be here every week during quarantine, I would think, unless something happens.
Yeah. Yeah. And if y'all have something you want us
Actually, I was going to say the same exact thing.
to say, if y'all have something you want us to talk about, we can definitely do that. We can figure out. We've obviously had a ton of ideas. We were going to do a whole like top 5 TV shows list at some point, which I'm sure we can still do because there's shows I love that we did. There's shows I love, and I know there's shows you love that we didn't even mention.
No.
Stranger Things or Lucifer, The Office.
We need a whole podcast for that, though. Still waiting on the season. Still waiting on the last season to come out.
Yeah. All right. Well, let us know if you got any thoughts, comments. Put them down below the YouTube comment section or drop it on Facebook. Send us a note on our Instagram pages. You can also find the show on Instagram at Zach Noah Takes. And the playlist from last week, where we put all the songs that we recommended, we have added all of our song recommendations from the show to that playlist. So it's under all the songs that were on that playlist originally. So you can find them all there. They're on Spotify, and we'll have the link in the show notes.
All right. Deuces.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.